My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 171. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Allison Ponthier. The singer-songwriter from Dallas, Texas, recently released her second EP, entitled Shaking Hands With Elvis. In today's episode, we're speaking with Allison about what creative influences helped shape the EP, connecting with fans through vulnerability, and we discuss the music of Christian Lee Hutson. Here we go. Our guest today is a brilliant singer and songwriter who was originally born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Now calling Brooklyn home, she releases music that is a beautiful blend of Americana, pop, folk, and indie. And she recently released her second EP, which is entitled Shaking Hands With Elvis. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Allison Ponthier. Hello, how are we?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm very excited that you're here as well. It is a very exciting time for you. There is a brand new EP out at the moment, Shaking Hands With Elvis. Firstly, congratulations, because this is a gorgeous piece of work.
Thank you. It's only my second child. No big deal or anything.
I feel like the second child might be a little bit, you know what you're in for. You've already gone through the first. You're a little bit more well prepared.
I think so too. I think that to be honest, my first EP was my first time doing 100 million things. And this time I am very proud of it because I feel like there is growth. I love my first EP. I love this EP. I'm just happy that it can grow with me.
100%. I feel like this, having listened to the first EP and then the second EP, it definitely sounds like there has been, I'd say some sonic growth. It seems like you've expanded on what you already built upon in that first EP. And I imagine that this question is always very tedious, so I will apologize up front. It seems like this EP is a beautiful blend of like folk, country, a little bit of Americana. There's some pop elements in there. I think you've classified yourself as alternative pop made by someone who listens to a lot of 70s country or folk. For you, I guess, if you were to explain this EP to someone who had never heard it, what kind of elements or how would you describe it?
Well, anytime I'm writing a song, I really don't like to go into the studio and be like, let's write this kind of song or let's write this kind of like artist song or anything like that. Usually it just depends on what I'm really into at the time. So whenever I'm making music, I'm not thinking about what genre it is. That being said, I do think you're everything you listen to. So for me, and this record specifically, a lot of like 70s rock music, folk music, country music. And at the end of the day, I am a pop girly through and through. I love pop music and I'll probably, make some version of pop music until I die.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a beautiful blend of kind of influences and everything else. I know that you're also quite a fan of, if I've done my research correctly, of musicals and kind of B-grade movies as well. Does that play into the influence sonically, I guess, at all?
Sure. I mean, I think that one thing that was exciting for me on this record was imagining what kind of movies maybe it would be in the soundtrack of. To me, Shaking Hands with Elvis very much sounds like a movie that would be like late 60s, maybe at the emotional climax of the movie. And then in terms of musicals, I really think that the tradition of singing what's on your mind. I mean, that's what I love about songwriting. I think that the golden rule of musicals is everyone talks until they're too emotional and they start singing. So whenever I'm singing, I hope it's me exploring more of myself than I would if I was just like journaling or something.
Yeah, of course. I think that is evidence in some of the songs. I think, what was it, the title track, Shaking Hands with Elvis, and Chasing a Feeling, both beautiful songs that I feel that kind of capture certain emotions that might be difficult to articulate just in words, and that do require that little extra, little bit of, I guess, emotion or singing behind it. With that being said, I know, as you said, you're a fan of musicals. Being an artist, because I believe that you don't just sing and songwrite, you're also a sculptor, a drawer. There's quite a lot of facets to yourself as an artist, Allison. Could we expect at any point that there is a musical possibly in the works or something along those lines?
I mean, that would be the goal. I'm at any point planning and daydreaming and thinking about doing some kind of a musical, obviously very campy and silly, but still very heartfelt. My absolute dream would be to do a musical, whether it's a movie musical or a live musical. I just grew up watching them and loving them so much. I think West Side Story and like Little Shop of Horrors were my comfort and my kind of savior when I was a kid. So it would be a full circle moment. I would pass away.
Very fair, very fair. I feel that I might not have thought it at the time, but you mentioning Little Shop of Horrors, I feel there's an element of that in the video for Hollywood Forever. There's a little bit of kitsch in that video that is just perfect, and I think kind of suits the song very well. With those music videos, how much input? Because it does come across a lot of that is your influence or your kind of personality in those videos.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they're all. I mean, obviously it takes a village, but conceptually, like the videos are from me making crazy mood boards and drawings and being like, what if we did this concept? I really, really love that part of the process. And when I write songs, I'm thinking about the video as well. I'm thinking about visually what's the movie I see in my head when I'm writing it, because that's just the kind of momentum that propels me through writing the song. But yeah, everything. It's super fun. I also fully believed the lie that like every artist is doing everything on their own and like coming up with their own music videos, writing all their own songs, everything. And so I just thought that was the expectation. So when I was planning my debut, Cowboy, and planning my career and daydreaming, I really saw myself as someone who creatively is at the wheel of the videos, the music, who I am as a person in interviews. Like I just want people to feel like they know me already and know that it's coming from me.
Of course. I think that's one of the nice things about being an artist in the last 10, 15 years or so, is that you can put a lot more of your personality out there and kind of have a lot more control, I guess, over your image and what is shown of you. But I also imagine that it probably is like a label's dream if you have rocked up and you've got everything all sorted for you, because it makes their job a little bit easier as well.
I hope so. I also think that that's what's different about being, I mean, obviously a pop star is a bit of a, big word, but like, for what I imagine what would be like a modern pop star, I think it's more likely that people want vulnerability. I think a long time ago, being a pop star, the untouchable quality is what made people excited. But I think now in modern times, like feeling like someone's your best friend, but can also do like a crazy, insane concert and be very talented, that's kind of the ideal now, which is convenient for me because I don't really like wearing spandex, and I mess up a lot. And so I think like this modern view of what like a public figure is, what a pop star is, what a musician is, like I really relate to it, and I see it reflected in my fans as well. My fans, every time I meet them, they're all very, very polite, and a lot of them are very upfront about struggling with social anxiety or speaking up. So I think you kind of get the fans that you put out in the world, and I have very sweet fans. So.
I would not doubt that for a second. The music that you do put out, I imagine it doesn't invoke like an angry kind of crazy mob of fans. Crazy about your music, yes. Sorry, let me clarify. Crazy about the music, yes, just not to insult anyone. But I would agree, it kind of is this thing of that I feel that, the modern day pop star, it's about connectivity. It's not about the elusiveness of it. It's more connecting and relatability almost.
I that's how I feel about it. And to be honest, like that's how I connect with artists. A lot of the artists that I'm really interested in, they are very upfront about themselves. I really like a lot of writers who have kind of like a dark comedy aspect to them, where they write not so much about how amazing and untouchable they are all the time. They're talking about things they've gone through and maybe their own issues, a la like Father John Misty or Christian Lee Hutson, who you also interviewed, which was so great. And I love listening to you. But yeah, I think that everybody is so aware of themselves all the time. Maybe it is more comforting to be around an artist that's so aware of themselves.
I would agree with that. I think that, look, I can't speak for everyone. Obviously, everyone has their own taste, but if you were to go through my record collection, you will find more artists similar to that. I think that do have that kind of personal touch to them.
That being said, I do love Ariana Grande, though. I'm just going to be honest. That being said, I love Ariana Grande. I love any like pop queen, but there is a good balance. I feel like she does a really good balance of being, herself, but also being an absolute icon. So this is just me shouting her out.
I would, again, as I mentioned, those records, you might find that there is one or two Ariana ones sprinkled in there along the folk and more singer-songwriter artists. With, I guess, going back to the start of, we're talking about writing and songwriting. Do you remember what originally kind of inspired you to pick up a guitar or piano or whatever it was that kind of started that process for you? Do you remember what inspired the beginning?
So I've always sang, probably because when I sang as a child, my parents were like, voice of an angel, she has to sing for everyone at dinner. In reality, I probably just sounded like a regular 5-year-old, but I always sang. I sang in the church. I sang in choir, but I was deathly afraid of singing in front of anybody. It was really scary. And I love to sing too, but I think I was just really terrified of judgment. And I felt super comfortable kind of getting lost in the crowd. So the idea of singing in front of people was so scary because it's the opposite of that. But the minute that I heard Imogen Heap and Regina Spektor, I was like, wow, that really feels like the things I feel, but it's an actual artist, that has many fans. Imogen Heap's Ellipse was really big for me. I think I was like 13 or 14. It was like the first record I ever really, really got into. And it was the first concert I ever went into. And all of those songs are about social anxiety or caring about the state of the world. And it was the first time I really felt like I was reflected in those songs. And in turn, because the way that I expressed myself was through singing, I wanted to be just like her. And I wanted to write songs, and I would like sit at my piano and pretend that her songs were mine and I was playing a giant show. So probably then.
I think that's very fair. That's very fair. Do you think that your songwriting process changed from, I know that originally born in Texas and raised there, and then now currently residing in Brooklyn, I believe. Do you think that shift, because I've been to Brooklyn, I haven't been to Texas, but I've been to some of the states around Texas, very different kind of environments. How did your songwriting process or kind of creative process, for lack of a better term, change in that move?
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I think that, so when I first started songwriting, I wasn't like a prodigy child songwriter. I think a lot of people think that when you start writing songs, you have to be good at it immediately or it's not for you. I started writing songs seriously and fully, like actually finishing songs when I was maybe 19 or 20 years old. So I've only been writing for 6 years. And I started writing when I was in college. I went to school for jazz. I am a jazz school dropout, not to brag, but I took a songwriting class, and a lot of the songwriting exercises that I were doing were kind of just about getting out of your comfort zone, like picking random topics or picking random chords or trying to write something in a new way. A lot of it was just centered around getting out of your comfort zone. And when I first started writing, I really thought about other people before myself. I thought about what other people would think was cool. I thought about what it would feel like to play the song I'm currently writing in a bar of all of my closest friends and enemies. And that's a terrifying way to start writing a song. There's too many expectations. The song's never going to be as good as you want it to be if you put that many expectations on it. And now, like, the first song that I think really changed that for me was Cowboy. I wrote Cowboy like five years ago. I mean, it was when I moved to New York and I met my girlfriend and I was struggling with coming out. And I was struggling so hard that I wrote Cowboy. And I think the reason that it was different is because I wasn't writing it out of like vanity or insecurity, wanting people to like me, wanting people to like what I wrote. I wrote it out of kind of necessity. I never thought it would come out. I didn't think people would be interested in a song like that, but I wrote it for myself anyway. And that ended up being kind of the blueprint for everything I make now. So, I mean, and I'm still learning and growing as a songwriter. And every day I want to write things that are more true and challenge myself musically more. So it never really ends.
No, I can definitely understand that. I know, I think the EP, you worked with a few different songwriters. I think Ethan Grusko was one of them. Ariel was another one. With, I guess, how was that collaboration process for you, and how did you find working with people like that?
Well, for one, I mean, both of the people you mentioned, and pretty much everybody, every single person that worked on the EP is incredible. Like, whether it's for their own project or many other things they've done that I've loved, they're all incredible and I look up to them. But also, I just think, like, we talk so much about writers and having co-writers, and what does it mean to have co-writers in the room? For me, it means that I'm with my friends, and instead of being really hard on myself, I have someone there for me who can give me immediate feedback. I love co-writing because I love being in a room with people who love music as much as I do, and we all want to make something together. When I write by myself, sometimes I'll walk away and I'll be like, good job. But honestly, when I'm like writing in a session, I'm always, really happy. Like I'm feeling like I accomplished something with people I care about. And I tend to be less hard on myself, even though I really like to lead and the ideas need to be mine. And I really need to feel like a huge ownership over the songs. The people I work with understand me, and we really do like have this relationship where it's not just about finishing the song. It's like the emotional support. So I don't know. I'm always interested in wondering what other artists' processes are like with similar songwriters or maybe their own songwriters. Because for me, it has really been an exercise in like being kind to myself and having more fun writing. And also just like, I mean, Ethan's incredible. He is also an incredible person, and has taught me so much musically and just as a person. Ariel, I love so many of the songs he had before. So it was like a no-brainer that we would work together and enjoy making things together. Every single song I have on this record is a great memory of a time where I accomplished something with people I love and care about and felt really good about myself, even if the song was really hard to write for emotional reasons. So yeah, I love it. Co-writing is like what has made me even more into songwriting than before.
I can acknowledge it's probably a very unfair question to ask, but do you have maybe today, to make it a little easier, is there a favorite track of yours on the EP that might change tomorrow?
I think, to be honest with you, I think that my favorite is Shaking Hands with Elvis, only because it's like so emotionally relevant to me even now. It was a difficult song to write. It's about loss, so the loss of someone that I was once very close to. And I mean, taking the songwriting out of the equation, that song was there for me in a really, really hard time. And writing it felt like I had overcome something that felt impossible before. Loss is so complicated. It's difficult, and it never truly goes away. Whenever you're experiencing something like that, you kind of take the happiness and the relief you can get when you can get it. So for me, Shaking Hands with Elvis kind of represents something bigger than what I'm normally writing about. So for that reason, I would say that song is really, really significant to me, and I'm really proud of it. And it was also an amazing experience writing it. I wrote it with Mike Del Rio and Steph Jones, and they're also such like incredible, supportive people that made me feel safe enough to write a song that I was terrified to write. So yeah, Shaking Hands with Elvis.
I have to admit, I know that the song does have a sensitive nature to it, and I wasn't sure whether to broach it in today's interview. And I won't go into it, but I do want to say that it is a gorgeous track. I feel that it kind of addresses, as you said, it's about grief, it's about loss, and I feel like it addresses that in a beautiful way. That the lyrics and I think the whole song as a whole, sonically, lyrically, it's a unique take on it, while still you can feel the emotion in that song, and I think it is a gorgeous song. So I think if nothing, just congratulations on that song, because it is brilliant.
Thank you. And I want to mention, just because in an earlier episode, I was listening to you talk to Christian Lee Hutson, as I mentioned before. And I thought I would just mention the song Northsiders that he wrote is one of my favorite songs of all time. And I think that song, having to deal with loss, and it's not just about loss, it's also about the life of the person. And it's about so much more than, grand sweeping moments or feelings. It really is about the little things that you share with that other person. I think that song really influenced me and touched my heart in a way that helped me actually deal with this loss in a way that I just felt that I had to mention. It's a really beautiful song, and I think it made me really excited about songwriting after I heard it. And those are always the best. The best is when you hear a song and you're like, wow, I can't wait until I can channel that one day. So I just thought I'd mention it.
Of course, I can very much understand that there is a similar, I guess, intimate nature to both yours and Christian's music. Very quickly, lastly, Allison, we'd usually ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there a record at the moment that has taken your fancy?
Sure. Let me look at my recently played, and I will tell you exactly what I'm listening to. Well, I have one answer that's maybe not the coolest answer in the world, just because I don't know if people will listen to it and be into it as much as me. I've been listening to Superficial by Heidi Montag. I've been very, very into reality stars turned into pop stars. Mm-hmm. I genuinely love this song. Highly recommend for anybody that wants to feel like they're in an early 2000s club. Other than that, something I've really, really loved is Daisy by Kate Davis. It's an amazing song about growing up and changes, and it's also rhythmically so exciting and interesting while still being a pop song. So highly recommend Daisy by Kate Davis.
We'll put both of those in the show notes for today's episode. Allison.
Perfect.
Congratulations on the EP. It is Shaking Hands with Elvis. But thank you very much for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate you so much for having me and being so sweet and asking thoughtful questions.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Allison Ponthier for her time. Shaking Hands with Elvis is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream the EP. We also want to give a huge shout out to Sam at Universal Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Are you ready for some hoops off?
Are you ready for some hoops off?
This is legitimately what you see people do right before they're going to fight. They take off their hoops, their earrings, because they don't want to get them ripped out of their ear, and they get ready for battle. Hey, I'm Liz.
And I'm Karen.
And you're listening to Hoops Off from Luminary.
On this show, we take our hoops off to bring you the spiciest, the saltiest takes on each week's games. We'll also be reading books by our favorite players, reviewing Shaq-sponsored products.
And of course, we'll be bringing the tea.
Should I prepare the hot water?
Oh, you better prepare the hot water. Please make sure to follow the show on your favorite podcast listening platform.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.